Ever wondered why relationships seem more complicated these days? Much of it comes down to the breakneck pace of our modern lives. Our calendars are crammed with work deadlines, school assignments, and myriad other responsibilities. The hustle and bustle of our daily routines often leave us with little time to nurture the relationships that matter most to us. There was a time when life moved at a gentler pace, a time when people had the luxury of spending quality time together, of building and maintaining connections that were deep and meaningful. Today, however, we find ourselves in a relentless race against the clock, always rushing, always chasing. This constant rush can make it exceedingly difficult to cultivate close connections, to build relationships that are strong and enduring. In a world that never stops, finding time for relationships becomes a challenge. Consider this: does your smartphone connect you or separate you? In our modern era, technology has deeply permeated our lives, but its impact on our relationships is a complex issue. When it comes to communication, the power of the internet and smartphones is undeniable. They give us the remarkable ability to connect with loved ones on the other side of the globe. They've transformed the way we communicate, but not always for the better. Curiously, while these devices draw us closer to those far away, they can simultaneously create a sense of distance between those who are physically close. Picture this: you're sitting next to a friend, a family member, or a partner, and instead of conversing, you're both engrossed in your screens. This digital divide can make it challenging to form deep personal connections, the very essence of meaningful relationships. Technology, a boon and a bane, reshaping our relationships. Indeed, it's a double-edged sword that we must learn to wield responsibly. Is your life picture perfect like those you see on social media? Now let's dive into the world of hashtags, likes, shares, and snapshots. Social media has become a pivotal part of our relationships, but it's not all rosy. Comparison, one of the major issues, is as old as humanity itself, but social media has amplified it. We scroll through feeds filled with seemingly perfect relationships, and it's easy to feel inadequate or envious. But remember, what is posted is often a highlight reel, not the full story. Next, we have distraction. Our attention is constantly pulled towards these digital platforms, sometimes at the cost of real-life interactions. Our phones buzz, our screens light up, and our focus shifts away from the person sitting right next to us. Lastly, miscommunication. Texts and posts can be misunderstood. Without the nuances of face-to-face communication, the intention behind a message can be easily misconstrued. In the world of likes and shares, the depth of relationships often gets overlooked. Free to choose, yet overwhelmed by choices. Does that sound like your relationship status? As societal norms shift, we find ourselves with a smorgasbord of relationship options. There's more freedom than ever before in whom we choose to be with and how we define our relationships. Yet this liberty can also feel overwhelming, as there are fewer clear guidelines to follow and countless decisions to make. At the same time, economic pressures cast a long shadow over modern love stories. The rising cost of living and job insecurity are a potent cocktail for stress, often causing tension between partners. Financial worries constrain the bonds, turning love into a battlefield of budget discussions and financial planning. These societal and economic changes are reshaping the landscape of relationships, adding new layers of complexity. In this intricate dance of modern relationships, maintaining connections demands creativity and resilience. In the face of societal changes and economic pressures, maintaining relationships becomes an art. Independence is empowering, but can it complicate relationships? As we navigate the currents of the modern world, we're noticing a more robust emphasis on personal independence and career goals. This shift is indeed empowering, allowing us to carve our own paths, build our lives, and chase our dreams. Yet it's important to recognize how this independence can weave a complex tapestry within our relationships. When we prioritize our independence, we may find it challenging to make the necessary compromises that relationships often demand. After all, relationships are about balance, give and take, understanding, and sometimes putting the needs of others before our own. When personal independence takes precedence, striking this balance can become a delicate dance. adding an intricate layer to the relationship dynamic. Now, let's talk about expectations. Today, many of us no longer seek just a partner. We yearn for a soulmate, someone who fulfills our emotional, intellectual, and physical needs. This quest for the perfect companion can place immense pressure on relationships, transforming them into a balancing act of fulfilling high expectations while maintaining our individuality. So, what happens when personal independence meets high expectations? The complexity of relationships deepens, the dance becomes more intricate as we strive to maintain our independence while also trying to meet our high expectations of what a relationship should be. With independence and high expectations, the complexity of relationships deepens. Yet perhaps it's within this complexity that we find the most meaningful connections, the most profound growth, and the most authentic love. Do you expect your love story to be like the ones you see on screen? Movies, TV shows, and books often paint a picture of idealized relationships. They present a world of grand gestures, perfect moments, and love without conflict, setting an unrealistic standard. This narrative can lead us to question our own relationships, feeling they fall short or lack the magic we see on screen. In the quest to live up to the media's portrayal, we forget the beauty of authenticity in relationships. So, are modern relationships complex? Yes, but aren't they also worth it? We've journeyed through the intricate labyrinth of modern relationships, looking at the pace of life, the role of technology, and the influence of social media. We've examined how changing societal norms and economic pressures add layers of complexity, and how personal independence and lofty expectations can sometimes make things more challenging. But remember, every relationship, like a delicate tapestry, is woven from threads of effort, communication, understanding, and patience. It's about navigating through the maze of complexities together and finding ways to connect, even in a world that sometimes seems designed to pull us apart. And while the influence of media can paint an unrealistic picture of relationships, it's important to remember that the most meaningful moments often happen off-screen. In the end, it's the genuine connection, kindness, and love that truly matter in our relationships.